A few days ago, Cognizant, one of the biggest IT employers of our country, announced something called as Project Leap. Sounded big, ambitious, big company. I was curious. And then you read the details. Project Leap is them firing 15,000 people. And when I read that announcement, I thought these are the kind of unique names that these big companies come up with when they don't want to admit what they're doing. Now, around the same week that Project Leap was announced, something else was happening in the entire corporate India. Appraisal letters were being sent out, millions of them. And you know the average across all sectors? Apparently it's 9.1%. And when it comes to IT, a mere 6.8%. And when you look at the inflation, that's hardly any raise at all. So I'm sure when you open that letter, you were hoping that number to be slightly higher. Unfortunately, it wasn't in most cases. Cognizant might have just said it aloud through that name, but this appraisal letter said it quietly, but the message remained the same. This industry does not need you the same way it used to, and it may not need you the same way in the future as well. And you probably know it, and you have felt it. You felt it when that colleague who left last quarter never looked back. You felt it when you opened that appraisal letter. You feel it every single time there's a conversation in office about which department is next, which role is next, which country is next. You've been having that conversation in your head maybe for weeks or maybe months. Should I leave? Should I stay? Am I being honest? Am I being stupid? Am I being loyal? Now, those are questions which do not have answers, at least not from me, not in the next 10 minutes. But by the end of this video, you will know 3 things which you don't know right now. You will know what your loyalty is actually costing you in numbers over the past decade. You will know which 2 roles are surviving this AI boom and how much time are you left with to become one of them. And finally, you'll have one question to answer in a yes or a no that will tell you whether you should stay or start moving. Here's something my father had which you and I will probably never have. He spent 20 years in the armed forces. My grandfather also did the same, and their deal was very clear. They served for 20 years. They get pension for life. They get medical coverage for life. They get just enough money to have a house for themselves, and kids' school is taken care of. And after that, you can work if you want to, but you don't have to. Now, that's not a sentence which anybody watching this video can say because that deal doesn't exist anymore. In fact, when I was chatting with my father, he actually said this. Hey, I'm working because I want to and because I can. But if I cannot, I am not worried. And I'm not saying he was the only one. My uncle who worked at the bank, my other uncle who worked at the steel plant, I'm sure your father, your uncles, they probably had similar deals. But nobody called it loyalty. It's just how the careers worked back in the time. And for a while, that formula worked even in the IT industry. Engineering degree, campus placement, stable job, salary hike, EMI approved, and everything our parents had to say was rational. And it was rational enough for us to follow that advice. But now a 9% hike, that too if you're lucky, without any pension, without any certainty, and a healthcare which will stop the day they let you go. And our father's generation, they spent about 7.5 years at one company. And that Gen Z cousin is spending about 1.1 years at one company. Because our father's generation was rewarded for staying, and that Gen Z person is rewarded for switching companies. Both are correct answers, just the questions are different. So what does that loyalty actually cost us? If you have somebody who's joined your team last month, last quarter, maybe same work, lesser experienced, check who's getting paid more, you or them. I'm sure they are at least 7 to 15% higher. Not because they're better, but because they're new and you're not. And you know there's a name to it. Loyalty tax. And it somewhat works like our phone carriers. The newer customers get the best deal while the old ones are paying the full price. Your company matches the market when they hire somebody from outside. But when they're giving you that raise, they're matching your patience. The longer you stay, the wider that gap is. Now here's what it compounds to. Take 2 people who start with the same salary, let's say 10 lakhs for the ease of calculation. One person continues in the same company on a 10% hike year on year. They double their salary after about 7 years. The other person changes their company once at about 40% hike and continues the same 10% hike. This person doubles their salary in 5 years or lesser. And if they both continue and look at their salaries after 10 years in their career, this person would have got to somewhere about 26 lakhs, but the other person would have reached to somewhere around 36 lakhs. Same ability, same starting point. One chose loyalty and the other one just made better calculations. And that's what staying is costing you in money. But that's not all. It also is costing you reputation. You think ATS is loyalty, but that next company who's going to interview is looking at it as stagnation, afraid to move, lack of skills, anything. It's unfair, but unfortunately, that's how people look at it. And here's one last thing which none of that is accounting for. Time. The tax, the compounding, the reputation, all of it is assuming that you can make this decision whenever you're ready. Next year, after wedding, after kids, after buying the house, after EMI gets over. The reality is you cannot. Your career has a window and that is closing faster than you think. Every career has a shape, and in IT where I've met hundreds of them, it roughly looks the same pretty much every time. 3 phases, about 7 years each. The first 7 are from 22 to 28. Call it the foundation level, low salary, nobody's watching you, you're figuring out what you want to be good at. Your second 7, 28 to 34. Very crucial in my opinion, because this is where it gets real. Your skill, your company, your salary, everything is compounding, both good and bad. And the unfortunate or cruel part is all your important life events are also happening in the same phase. Marriage, kids, buying that first house, deciding whether to do an MBA or not. So while you're making your important career decisions, all of this is also happening in your life. And most people, because of those pressures, make this safe choice. They stay and they hope it gets better the next year. And this is probably the phase most of you are in right now. And I repeat, what you do between 28 to 34 decides how your career is going to look like at 40. Now your third 7, 35 to 42, you're either climbing the leadership ladder or you're watching the door close behind you. Because here's the truth, a company can hire 2 people of 10 years experience each at the cost of a 15-year guy. And honestly, a lot of times, the outcome of the work from a 10-year and a 15 years is not very different. 10 years ago, even if you didn't do great in your second innings, you still could make up for that in your third innings. But AI is closing that window now. So the pyramid that used to make IT work, freshers executing, middle level coordinating, seniors deciding, is breaking from the middle. So this middle layer of coordination or managing tickets, just reporting, monitoring, this is the first level or the first layer which is getting replaced by AI the fastest. And this is not just an IT industry, even other industries are playing the same pattern. People who are reporting, monitoring, or just coordinating are the ones who are getting replaced before the people who are building or people who are making decisions. Now, Cognizant just showed us how this looks like at scale. 15,000 people and most of them this middle layer. Now, what survives this are 2 kinds of roles. First one is deep technical architect level understanding of the technology. We can teach somebody coding or a product in 1, 2 or 4 months, but we cannot teach how to architect or build an enterprise system and enterprise software. And the second kind is understanding of the business, of the domain. And I'm not talking about people who are building those dashboards. I'm talking about people who decide, is that dashboard needed in the first place? And if yes, what should go into that dashboard? So in essence, you're either building the system or understanding the business. Every other role, highly likely, is on borrowed timelines. You probably have 4, 5, maybe 6 years to build that depth towards those roles. If you pick now, you have time to become one of those. But if you wait to pick in your third innings, that third innings may not have enough place for you. And when you pick, you just don't pick a side. You also have to be at a company that lets you become that. Because most companies need you in the middle. That's where they make money. And they don't want you to think. They just want you to keep doing what you're doing as long as they can bill you. Now, I myself run a company where nobody is left in the last 4 years. Not a single person. And I can tell you, it's not because I'm paying them more than somebody else. So there's one question to be answered in yes or no, which will help you identify whether your company is more like mine or more like the other kind. I was at Infosys for about 8 years, and it was the start of my second innings when I decided to leave. And luckily, towards the end of my first innings, I was already doing some decision work. And at some point there, I realized I'm not going to write code forever. In fact, the part that I was good at was solving a problem even before that first line of code was written. So when the opportunity came to build my own company, I didn't have a business plan, but I had 3 things. A skill that people would be ready to pay for, no debt, and a professional network which already had worked for me even before I announced my company. As of today, I run a software consulting company, and in the last 4 years, nobody has left. So what are we doing differently? To start with, we don't price people by their experience. We price them by what we can bill to the customer for their work. They could be 3 years, 5 years, 8 years, doesn't matter. And I let people know about how this works, how the salary works. It's no mystery, and I'm not necessarily always paying better than some other company, but I'm paying honestly and transparently. And turns out that's much rarer than paying them more. In fact, even when a junior or a newcomer is trying to ask me for more than what the math is suggesting, I tell them what is the work that they should do to get to that number. And how do they get that number? Because I can bill the client for that work that they do for us. And when they show, in 6 months, in 1 year, I keep my commitment. We give them that number, even before the appraisal cycle sometimes. Now, my company may be small, but that is as real as it can get. And I realize most companies are not running the same way. Most companies pay you the minimum amount that they can, and they hope that you never find out the math. They call it loyalty when you stay, but it's not loyalty that you're earning. You're collecting inertia, or should I say momentum of staying at one place. And here's the question that I promised you at the start that you can answer in a yes or a no. If leaving your company were costless to you as of now, same money, same work, same security, nothing changes. You're just free to walk. Would you leave? If the answer is no, if you would stay with no friction at all, you're being held by a value, and that's a good sign. That might be worth keeping. But if the answer is yes, then what's keeping you is not the company. It's that EMI, it's that notice period, it's the fear of having to start all over again. And that is not loyalty. That is what I said as inertia being dressed up as loyalty. And knowing that is not enough, because I think I should leave and I know what to do now are two very different statements. And I'm going to give you 6 things that you can look up today, this week, next week maybe, that will help you convert that feeling into a concrete decision, which you can back with some data, not a guesswork. And the first one among them, you can probably answer it in 5 seconds. You probably already know. You just haven't said it out loud to yourself. If nothing changes in your company for the next 12 months, same work, same scope, same pay, would you be actually okay with that? Without being angry about it, would you be just fine with it? So that's the first question, and you probably have the answer to it already. Here are 5 more questions. Number 2, look at the work that you did last week, last month, and ask yourself, how much of that work can be done by AI? How much of that is AI already doing it? Not in near future, today. And if the answer is more than half of it, then your role, unfortunately, is already on borrowed time. Number 3, tonight or this week, whenever that is, open one of these 2 and enter your job role, experience levels, your city, and find out what is the market pay for your role. And if the gap between market and your salary is more than 20%, that's your number to exactly know your loyalty tax. Number 4, check if your manager has been promoted in the last 3 years. Also check their managers. If none of them have moved, you are not stuck behind traffic. You are the traffic. Number 5, write down 3 big things that you have done in your last 6 months or 1 year of work and check if any of that is something that another firm would hire you for. Because if everything you built is only valuable for your firm, you've been building somebody else's asset and nothing for yourself. Number 6, and this one's for those who are thinking about going solo, freelancing, starting up. Has anybody ever paid you real money, not as a favor, for your skills outside of your salary, outside of your job? If yes, great, you have a floor, you have a base to start with. But if no, that's your first assignment. Don't quit to find out if people will pay you or not. Find out first and then quit. If most of your answers are pointing in the other direction, AI check is fine, your manager has got promoted, your skills are being relevant, and your pay is also fine. Nothing wrong in staying in your company. I've myself and I've seen people stay at one company for 6, 7, 8 years, and that was the right call for them because their work was changing almost every second year. So staying at a company that grows you is not the same as staying at a company which is just trying to keep you or retain you. And if most of your answers point in the same direction, AI doing your work, market check failed, your manager has not got a promotion in the last 3 years, your work is not relevant outside your firm, then the title of this video isn't just an advice. It's a description of what's already happening to you. Run these 6 questions every single appraisal season. The answers will change, the situations will change, but this diagnosis, these questions will remain the same. I'm giving IT as a reference because that's my professional life, but if you are in banking, manufacturing, any other industry for that matter, the diagnosis still remains the same. A job that pays you the same a year from now and teaches you nothing is not a job. That's just a holding pattern, a keeping pattern. And when I say quit your job right now, I don't mean to say leave your company. I mean leave the trajectory, change the direction. In fact, the right question was never should I quit? It is this direction worth for my second innings? You've got 7 years, maybe lesser. Make them worth keeping you. Because if you don't, someone else will decide they were not worth keeping you. If this made sense, click on the subscribe button. I try to break down work and career from a consulting mindset. I'll see you in the next one. Take care.